The light of the afternoon sun created a warm glow. Everything, in this moment right now, is beautiful. A soft breeze moved everything around her, making the grass and trees sway. She sat staring at the overgrown field in front of her. Not a house in sight. Good, she said. That means I don't have to deal with anyone. She could feel the warmth of the sun, like a welcome hug. A light breeze moved her hair, just a little, which at first made her jump. She instantly realized it. She instantly realized she was okay, and let out a huge sigh. Everything's okay now. It's all over now. She reassured herself out loud. She crossed her arms into a sort of self-hug and squeezed lightly. She wasn't cold, but she had goosebumps anyway. The lasting effects of what just happened, still manipulating her senses. She could still smell it, taste it even. It was so strong. She had never seen so much blood. She shook her head, recalling every second of what she saw, questioning herself. Was it real? Is it really over? She asked herself out loud in a whisper. Did it really fucking happen? She knew she had to go to the station to make an official statement, but she also knew that no one was going to understand. No one is going to believe one damn thing. She wasn't being accused of anything. Officers witnessed the final acts of self-defense. But that wasn't it. That wasn't the part that she was worried about. What she was worried about was having to tell. Having to explain the entire evening. Having to explain her entire life. If I tell them everything, they're going to think I'm crazy, she said again, in a scrambled whisper. I guess I better practice saying I don't know a lot, she said. I guess I better become clueless real fast. She sat unmoving, but mentally contemplating her statement. I guess I better believe it too. For my own damn sake. For their sake. Finally, she stood up from the long grass, legs almost asleep, and wiped her hands off on her pants. Thankful for this moment of peace that's now over. Suck it up, Buttercup. It's time for show and tell. She turned around to walk to her car. Sitting in the interrogation room at the table, 2 chairs, one for me, one for the detective. Nothing on the walls, no windows. He asked me if I wanted coffee, but I couldn't really respond. Still emotionally raw from what just happened. I'm just here to make my statement, I said. The detective shifted, relaxed, and took a sip of his cup. "Whenever you're ready, take your time," he said. I sat blankly staring, really just gaping at the floor. The events hitting replay in my mind without a break. When I finally felt brave enough, I made eye contact with the detective. Of course, I did nothing wrong. I did nothing but protect myself. Not just last night. I've been protecting myself, my secret, my family secret, my entire life. But this guy, he doesn't need to know all of that. All he needs to know is the answers to his questions. All he really needs to know is a confusing, basic explanation of the fucked upness he witnessed as I defended myself against what can really only loosely be referenced to as my family. I mean, it's not like there is or was one damn family thing about it. Sure, we were blood, but that was it. That was the extent of our connection. Well, that and the awful thing we all had in common. The thing I hated most about us. I hated it, but they loved it. They embraced it. The thing I could never escape was their salvation. It was disgusting. I hated the fact that I was a part of it in any way, and it made me hate myself. Not that I had any choice in it, I was born into it. "Miss," the detective looking me over, trying to see if I'm going to respond or snap out of my self-imposed waking coma. "Are you ready to begin? I do have a few specific questions and then you can go." From what I and everyone else witnessed, there wasn't much left to question. "From what I saw," the detective said, "you were cornered and had no choice but to defend yourself." "I know you were defending yourself." He paused, squinted, and leaned forward. "But you and I both know that there's a lot more to what's going on here." He had the cleanest sightline. Of the last moments before it all ended, he saw everything. He knew. I saw his face. The complete shock and disbelief of what he saw was apparent. I nodded, but I knew I couldn't really tell him. I couldn't tell him, but I guess it would be different if he guessed. But how the fuck could he guess this? Staring out of the window of the small diner, she watched the rain pour down as she mindlessly stuffed her face. Unable to remember the last time she ate a real meal. The diner was cozy and a nice distraction from reality. Evening set in as she decided to get it over with and head home. As she approached the house where it all happened, she noticed the detective sitting in his car. What the fuck does he want? She thought. As they both exited their vehicles, he nodded at her and approached. "Can I help you with something, detective?" she asked as he slowly started. "Look, You don't have to do anything, really. I've got your statement. The paperwork is all neat and tidy. But the logical part of my brain, maybe just my curiosity, please humor me. She looked confused, but inside, she was begging he wouldn't ask. Not directly, anyway. Why don't we go inside, Detective? You sure you want to go in there? It's quite grotesque. She shrugged and proceeded. They approached the porch and ducked under the crime scene tape. We'll just go into the kitchen and chat. Tea? The living room where it all happened was just out of sight. No, I'm good. Here's what I don't understand. What I saw is not anything I have ever come across or even heard of before. The things I saw coming at you, 5 or 6, I'm not even really sure. It was dark. In your survival, I cannot understand. The logistics just don't add up. Not without additional explanation. No one would believe it, and I'm not even here on behalf of the department. I'm here so I can sleep at night. She looked directly into his eyes, sipped her tea, and started. There are monsters in this world, Detective. Some fantasy, but some aren't. People are scared of the dark, of what's under their bed, behind the shower curtain, or maybe in the closet. But the real monsters walk amongst us. We interact with them every day. We open doors for them, or vice versa, as they pass for what society deems as normal. No one knowing what they did last night or maybe this morning. But quite frankly, Detective, we are currently living in a world that, to keep your family safe, you should be well aware that monsters are amongst us. They smile and wave at you as they cut their lawns or help someone put groceries in their car. You see them at PTA meetings or church. You shake their hands, and some occasionally just keep to themselves. They have no age, they have no gender, they have no discernible, obvious personality traits. They have no race, no social class. Anyone, anywhere, anytime. They could be sitting right next to you in class, at work, or they could be sitting next to you right now. Sometimes, Detective, it takes a monster to take a monster down. The detective slowly blinked his eyes as he was coming to. He hadn't realized he had passed out. The young woman he had been talking to was sitting across from him, watching him carefully. "How are you feeling?" she asked. He couldn't answer yet. Realized his hands were tied to the chair. "Don't worry. I'm not going to hurt you." She stood up and started to tell him. "Look at your arm," she pointed. He looked down and noticed a large bite mark. Not a human bite mark, but looked more like a large snake bite. It was hard to decipher, and he was still a bit foggy. So she started again. "I know you want to know what happened here, and I want to tell you. Or anybody, really, but I can't. In order to be able to remain living and existing among everyone, and without them knowing what I and what we are now, I cannot say it out loud, and you won't be able to either. It's sort of like a spell, if that helps. She paused. I, and you now will be the same way, will appear human to everyone as long as you don't ever tell anyone or say it out loud. Because if you do, then everyone will see you as you are. The detective finally spoke. That still doesn't explain why I'm in this chair. I'm getting to that, she said. There is one catch, which until now I couldn't really enjoy. We, or our kind, only seen in our true form by others of our kind. It's a blessing and a curse because you can never hide from one another. They seek you out. They, except me it seems, can only thrive in a sort of pack. So once they find you, you're sort of connected forever until death, which sometimes seems like the only way. He watched her as she sat across from him again. Detective, the bite on your arm is from me. He panicked and started scrambling. Calm down. Not only is it pointless, I'm not going to hurt you, but I'm experienced in restraints. He stopped scrambling. He appeared to calm down, but his breathing remained the same. So she started again. Soon, you're going to feel a change come on. The venom is going to spread, spreading as we speak. You'll know the exact moment that it's done its job. Because soon I will appear to you in my true form. Because you will be the same as I. You'll see in me what you saw that night because you will be the same. His eyes blurred, blinking. She was going in and out of focus. Until she wasn't anyone. Until she was gone and in her place, like she said, was a monster staring at him. That's when he screamed. He heard his scream, but it was something else, an unfamiliar sound. He had never heard it before, except for that night, and now it came from him.